Welcome back, Reptile fam. Thank you for joining me once again. I hope you guys are having an amazing day and everything's going great for you. I want to get you guys off your butt in breeding reptiles, keeping reptiles, just getting reptiles in general. That's my heart and that's my goal, is to get people in this community and to be a part of it. I have a good video for you today. It's going to help you guys out, especially if you guys are ball python breeders and you guys are new to this. I have some ways of actually speeding up the process and getting it where you can actually start making money faster. I've actually used this method and it's worked for me. So sit back and watch this and we'll be right back. Hey everyone, this is Chris Willis, aka Zenwork with Zenwork Reptiles. My goal is to get you excited about keeping reptiles, breeding reptiles, and also starting your own business. I've been keeping reptiles since 1999 and I love answering your questions, your comments, and also helping you guys along the way. So sit back, relax, and let's get the show started. Welcome back, Reptile fam. Anyways, so if you guys been here since day one, you will have heard this information before. What I did is I'm gonna mash all this stuff into one video. But what I'm saying though is this is good information and it will help you out. It's worked for me, it's worked for other people. It's a great way to explode your ball python collection and actually bring some money in so you can start adding to your collection and getting the things you need. If you follow this, I'm not saying it's the only way, but it is a great way. We'll get you started and get you making some money. So first of all, when you're starting out breeding ball pythons or reptiles in general, it's expensive. As a YouTuber, as a reptile keeper, and even as a person that raises rats and feeds them to snakes, I get a crazy amount of hate for saying that ball pythons is actually an expensive hobby. I don't know why I get so much hate for this, but people saying that a hobby is a hobby. I do believe that starting a ball python hobby is actually one of the more expensive upfront costs. There's a lot of hobbies out there and they are expensive, but there's a lot more ways of funding them. Well, let's think about, I like fishing. I used to be really into fishing. I can buy my poles and stuff for probably a couple grand. It depends how many poles I need, depends on all the kind of fishing I'm gonna do. Say if I'm gonna do trout fishing or bass fishing, or I'm gonna do, saltwater fishing, you need different poles and stuff. And I want to get a boat. Well, I can go down and finance a boat with my credit and pay a monthly payment. Also, say I'm going to do a lot of outdoors stuff. I'm going to go hiking and stuff and I want to get an RV. Again, I can go down and buy an RV on my credit and pay a monthly payment. I want to go off-roading with an ATV. Say I want to get a quad or say a side-by-side. Again, I can go down and use my credit and finance that. Now, when it comes to ball pythons, it's true that I can go buy a rack, which racking systems are expensive and all this stuff on my credit card, but not everybody has, $5,000, $10,000 on their credit card. I think the average is about 3 to 4, and some people have higher than that. I personally do, but I don't have $10,000 on any credit card that I have, and so it's really hard to finance a lot of this stuff. And also, you want to buy snakes. Most people want cash up front. You can actually make some payments, but they want fast payments, like 2 to 3 months. So you make these payments on it and pay it off. Again, you can use your credit card. But you don't have the options as a lot of expensive hobbies. A lot of it you have to nickel and dime it here. So I do get a lot of hate for this, but it is true that I believe personally it's harder to get started in the ball python industry because of all the upfront costs. And once you get there, it's actually easy and you start selling some animals and it gets a lot easier for you, but it's that initial startup is kind of rough. And not everybody has, the extra funds that everybody has. I'm lucky that I'm in a situation where I have a little bit more than most people, but it still was rough for me to start out. So I'm gonna personally show you how to make money, startup money. I'm gonna show you how to take some snakes, especially if you have lower end snakes, and actually make them into higher grade snakes. I'm not gonna show you how to make millions of dollars. You're not gonna be rolling a Bentley, but what I'm gonna do is show you how to even take normals. I wouldn't recommend using normals, but it is definitely possible. I know a lot of people that got started with normals, and I can show you how to take normals and produce some snakes that you can actually sell. But if you do have the money and the means, I would definitely recommend getting at least a single gene snake. Personally, I don't buy single genes anymore. I usually buy at least 2 genes, but again, this is about you and getting started. The more you can put into it, the better off you will be, but this method does work with normals, and it will definitely get you that jump start and that money coming in that you can start adding to your collection and getting the equipment you need. You're fresh at this, you want to start a breeding colony. You can go online and find a normal adult females for 75 bucks to 120 bucks. The reason why I'm saying adult is because you can actually save a lot of money by not buying babies. Normal females are very easy to find. Also single females, like you can get Mojave, you can also get lesser, pretty easy. People get rid of those all the time. What I'm saying is that this is pretty common sense, but some people don't know this, especially if you're starting out, is what you should be looking for is a super. Super is the way to go if you're breeding normals. Because we all know if I bred these normals to, like, say I have a GHI Mojave. Well, if I bred it to them, I'm going to have a chance of having normals. And normals aren't worth that much. And I can't stress that. I love normals, but in the reptile world, they're not worth much at all. And I'd still try to sell them, but the problem is you're gonna get bottom of the barrel price, and you'll probably end up selling them to either a pet shop or someone who just wants a pet, and they're gonna pay minimum amount. And the money that you spent feeding the hatchlings and everything else is gonna be more than the money you get back from selling them. Me personally, supers that I really like, that I like to have in a lot of my stuff is Super Orange Dream and also Super GHI. So on a lot of my lower end snakes, I breed them with supers. And the reason is, well, let's talk about this right now, because I'm looking on Morph Market right now, and I found this. It's a Super GHI, Super Pastel, lesser, for $900. I always dump the money in the mail. That's what I've always done. It's always worked out for me. It's panned out well. I pay a little bit less for the females and put the money into the male. First of all, when you're breeding males to females, you don't really want to breed one male to 20 females. I'm just going to give you an idea here. You can get more males, but this male right here you can pick up for $900, and say you bred them to a normal female. Well, I'm going to show you the results here in a second, but you will not get any normals, and that's going to be really good for you. But let me show you break it down here on the calculator. So you have a 50% chance of a GHI Pastel lesser. So that's a nice snake. I mean, it's not the end of the world snake. You took a normal mother and made a really decent snake with some decent genes in it. But also, you're guaranteed to get GHI Pastel. Again, it's not going to be, a banana pied or a xanthic pied, but you've just taken some low-end snakes and made them into some decent quality snakes that are actually can be sold at a show. So that's what I'm trying to say is, if you're breeding normals, definitely get supers. So by doing this, you save yourself the pain of having normals. And I love normals. I think normals are really pretty. I think they're underrated, but they're only gonna be pets, and the truth be told is they're not worth it. I don't breed normals anymore at all, and I've cut that out by using supers. So all my lower grade snakes, I definitely use supers. This is a trick that most people don't know, and they still produce those normals. And anytime I have a chance of using a super, I always do it, because they're really not that expensive, especially for like base genes like Orange Dream and also GHI. Definitely for genes that I want into my snake, for sure. So if I'm building me a better colony, like I want all my animals to have Orange Dream, there's like enhancing gene that I want, like Pastel or something like that, I always use that super, because I know for a fact I'm going to get into this snake that I want to keep and hold back and breed at a later date. I'm not trying to show you how to make tons and tons of money on this, but you can sell those for a decent amount of money, and you can actually start getting some more equipment, some better snakes, things for your facility. And you can actually do this with pretty low cost. You bought your females, and then you bought your male. Your male's the only thing you really sunk your money into. Say, instead of buying normals, I bought a single gene female. That's actually gonna make it even better. What would work really good with this would be a lesser or or a GHI or even a pastel, but I'd say GHI or lesser, because you have a chance of having super lessers or GHI, but just by having that one single gene is going to make a big difference. So I'm going to say I have a lesser that I'm breeding that male to. Let's look at that real quick here. So by breeding that to that lesser, now I have a 25% chance of a super lesser GHI pastel. By just having that one single gene, it really amped it up, and now I'm getting supers again, and I'm definitely, the snake's gonna be worth a little bit more. And if you guys can actually afford a GHI adult female, that would actually give better chances. You would actually have a 50% chance of getting a super GHI, but the reason why I say lesser is because lesser is more affordable, and we're trying to keep this affordable for you. I do understand if you don't have the money, normals definitely work, but adding that one single gene just really just pops it. So I have a 50% chance of a GHI pastel lesser, guaranteed to get a GHI pastel. Everything's gonna have GHI and pastel in it. So you can see by adding that one more gene though, I have a better chance of hitting something better. And again, I don't want to be redundant, but you know, you're making better snakes and the normals, and you're gonna be able to sell them for more. Again, I'm not gonna be able to go roll a Bentley, but you can start buying better equipment. Another way I want to show you about saving lots of money when you're first starting up is buying adult females. And first of all, if I'm buying adult females, I'm only gonna buy single gene or normal females that are adult, or unless I know the person very well. The thing is, if I'm selling a pied axanthic and I'm getting rid of it, I'm gonna have to question why, because that's gonna produce wonderful snakes and it's gonna take a long time to get there. So why are they selling this? People sell adult normals all the time, and they sell adult single genes all the time. And if you know the person or halfway know the person, I'd feel comfortable doing it, because people actually do upgrade their snakes. These do become obsolete, but your double genes and your triple genes do not really become obsolete. And if you want to get more genes and you're kind of leery, subadults is also a good starting point too. It might take a little bit longer than an adult. Again, you won't have to worry about being messed over by somebody. So if you're kind of like leery, subadults is a good idea, because you don't have to worry about the issues. You can be there a lot faster than you would with a baby. And I'm not trying to say that everybody's a criminal. I've seen it happen more than not, and I would definitely wouldn't do it unless I really trust the person. Now, if Aussie Boys was selling something like that, adult one, I would definitely buy it, or there's some other people that I know that I definitely trust out there, but I would not buy it unless I trust them 100%. But normals, adult normals and adult like single genes like say Mojave and lesser and GHI, you can find all the time and pick them up pretty cheap, especially if it's a reputable breeder. What they do is they get these snakes and they serve their purpose, and they're upgrading their snakes, so they sell these to get different snakes that they want. One of the biggest costs for having snakes is actually feeding them. You know, I understand that the rack costs a lot of money when you first buy it. Depends on what kind of rack you go, what kind of racking system you have, especially if you go to ARS or Freedom Breeder. You know, you spend a lot of money on these racks. But again, those you can actually buy with a credit card, or you know, you can save the money and just get outright, or you can actually go with, you know, make your own. I know a lot of people that made their own. Actually, when I first started, I made my own. Didn't do it very long. It worked fine, but I definitely like my ARS better. I definitely like, even like if I have to, I'd go. I do have a couple of those. I do like the Reptile basic ones. They're pretty decent. I use them for hatchling racks. But again, that once you get to that point, you're golden. But that feeding cost, it costs a lot of money. So if I had 20 snakes and I bought them brand new, so I bought just 20 normals, females, and I'm trying to raise them up. Even though I didn't spend that much money on them, because I probably spent 25 bucks or 50 bucks a piece on them, that food is going to cost me a lot of money. So it depends on if they breed at 2 years or 3 years, how much food I've already put into them before they actually produce me anything. So if it's 2 years, I'm already spent about $4,000 in food on these 20 females. They haven't done anything for me besides eat and poop and take up, you know, bedding. And I'm just saying, I understand there's pets, but I'm trying to talk about like on the business side here. So if it takes 3 years for them females to breed, you're close to about $7,500 of feeding these females. And what I'm going by is that if you are using frozen, you might be breeding your own rats, which I recommend, and I have a lot of rat breeding videos. But if you're just buying frozen, which a lot of people do, I went to Big Cheese's, which is one of the cheaper places, and this is what it cost to feed these 20 snakes after 3 years. And that's a lot of money if you're not getting anything back from them. By buying large females, if it's possible, it saves you time, the money costs for feeding them for all those years, also all the bedding costs, all the heating costs, all the the water costs, which is minimal, but you'll be at a point where you can fastly get some money coming in. I'm not bashing anybody who wants to take the long process. You want to take your snakes and raise them up 3 years, that's cool, and actually probably the better way to go. But if you're looking at a faster way to actually get going, this works, and I know it works. It worked for me, it worked for other people, but it's not the only way. I want to let you know that. It's just the way it works for me, and I want to help you guys out if it's possible. I just want to give you guys some ideas if that's what you guys are planning on doing. And I don't know all the answers. I just know what works for me. Once you start knowing all the answers and you think you have all the answers, you definitely are in trouble, because I believe what makes a person intelligent is by knowing that there is more to learn all the time. I don't have all the answers. I know even Ozzy Boyds and Justin Kaboka don't know all the answers. They may know more than me, but what makes them good, and I think what makes me good, is I'm always constantly learning and trying to better myself. If you just if you get these larger females, and also you get these supers, you will produce better snakes, and you will actually be able to sell some snakes that are actually have for a decent price, start getting some money in. I want to go a lot more with this, but I don't want to make this video too long. I'll probably make more about this, but I'm just saying, if you want to get a jump start on this and not have a bunch of normals, this is the way I would do it personally, and I've learned this from experience over time. Anyways guys, I hope you guys like that. Check out some of my other videos right here. Also hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. Anyways guys, I love you, stay positive, don't let the haters hate, and I'll see you next time. Bye.